what happens when your sacroiliac joints fuse together following a hell of a lot of inflammation or erosions into the joints with sacroiliitis or ankylosing spondylitis? You might think, well, the SIJs don't move much at all, so if they fuse together, if anything, there's not going to be any effect, or it might even help with pain. Here's why, as you'd probably expect, it isn't ideal for these joints to fuse. So number one is the SIJs provide a shock absorption between the lower body and the upper body. So you can imagine if you take some shock absorption out, there's going to be more pressure into the lumbar spine, more pressure throughout your whole body into your legs, which could then cause these joints to have more issues down the line. Number two, your SIJs are involved in your walking and through the ability of your pelvis to rotate and move. So if they fuse together, you might have a bit of an issue with your walking and your gait. Number three, fusion of the SIJs is probably a bad sign of what's to come. So with ankylosing spondylitis, it's more likely that your SIJs will fuse first, and then this disease will progress and the fusions will happen further up the spine, which obviously the SIJs isn't great, but I don't need to explain to you why spinal fusion isn't good at all. For irreversibility, there's nothing to prove yet that you can actually reverse this, so you might change your mind at one point or start to realize how bad these fusions actually are, and there's nothing right now. Hopefully there is in the future, but there's nothing now to show that you can actually reverse this. Number five, you might have heard that people in severe pain will actually choose to get surgical SIJ fusion. Now, this is different to the inflammation actually deciding the fusion, because as you can imagine, surgery is going to do it as equally and symmetrically as possible. But if it just happens naturally through disease, sacroiliitis or AS, you can probably make a good bet that there's going to be a bit of a lopsided nature to this fusion, and one side's going to be more fused than the other, which is obviously going to cause a hell of a lot more problems than if they were fused equally for your body to then be able to balance out better. So this isn't my normal type of video, it's a bit doom and gloom, but I think it's good for people to understand why you really don't want this pain and inflammation at your sacroiliac joints, and the final result isn't ideal, but luckily there's so much you can do about it. You need to see my whole page to see these sorts of things that I talk about for what you can do to stop this.